So here we are with the newly upgraded C100. It's a $500 autofocus upgrade that you have to go into the Canon service center, drop it off, a couple of days later, pick it up, and it looks exactly the same. I meant the camera. So this technology is dual pixel AF, which means it's super fast new whatever technology. As soon as I push in on our little camera rig, it autofocuses. When I pan down to my bad cue cards, it autofocuses. When I go over to Marcus, it autofocuses super fast. Now the only limitation is this little square area is the only active area for autofocus. This could be a big limitation for composition. Me, I'm gonna see if it limits me when I put it on a Steadicam and give it a whirl. We started with the Canon 16-35 f2.8, but it definitely wasn't bokeh-licious enough. So we zoomed into 35mm. Our first impression is the autofocus capability is pretty sweet, even ignoring our overzealous BTS girl. The honeymoon stage soon wore off and the limitations appeared. The autofocus is fast, but that means it can be fast to focus where you don't want it to if you only point at it for a little moment. The main issue is that I found myself tweaking my composition around to get my image in focus, rather than concentrating on operating and the story behind the shot. However, at the same time, focus pulls usually impossible as a lone operator are now easy. For some reason, taking the 16-35mm to the shade showed the biggest issues. Even when the subject was right in the crosshairs, the camera showed a lot of confusion, missing focus more than nailing it. Even having a major freakout at one point. My guess is that the scene lacks the contrast that the C100 wants to gauge focus points. Interesting enough, Marcus's orange became the C100's best friend, perhaps even its love interest, because it nailed its focus consistently on the orange. I'm guessing because it has such a stark chroma contrast that it was an easy target. Okay, so 16-35, already a bit of a challenge for focusing on Steadicam. Now we're going to try the 135 EF lens. Now, I would only fly such a long lens on the Steadicam once in a while, but I was surprised to find that the Canon 135 f2 was more responsive than the Canon 16-35 with autofocus. It locked in on its beloved orange quickly and had a much higher success rate at nailing focus. It even liked non-orange things. Curiously, it still had a hard time locking onto Marcus, even when he was dead in the center of the reticule. It helped to point at a larger mass on him, like his torso, to get focus. Yet, the orange still gets all the love. So our main takeaway is actually that we can now shoot with much longer lenses, shooting wide open on Steadicam. That little square is a little bit hard to work with. I would say that this is just an assistant to some shots, is nothing to rely on.